John Murphy here, recording you what I believe to be the single most valuable, life-changing skill that you can learn. Because here's something I had to discover the hardest way possible, which is through teaching myself, which is about time management. And here's what I call this, the Murphy no BS time management. Because here's the thing why I say no BS. No one can manage time. Time is your most valuable asset. Because if you were to ask a 90-year-old billionaire if they'd trade all their money to be 30 again, they would do it in a heartbeat because you can never get that time back. You can always get more money. But what happens when we're not where we want to be, we're willing to shortcut, circumvent the process of developing the skills and the tactics we need to win. So when we talk through this today, this paradigm shift, it's all going to be about how you can find more time to take more action, to get more results and close more loans. Okay. So welcome again, John Murphy, MJW Mortgage here in Indianapolis, Indiana, recording you another training. The target of this is every single week, I want to be posting one new piece of training for you on our YouTube channel, and I'll email it out and hopefully it'll help you with your career and vocation to get more results, right? I've said this many times. I have nothing to sell you. I have no products, no coaching, anything outside of trying to build our brand and grow our company. And this is the way I do it, by moving the free line and providing more information. So today's training, the number one issue where most people go wrong in their life when it comes to time management is that most years look identical from one to the next. Because here's what most people do with their lives. They keep adding and adding and adding more things, adding more stuff, adding more responsibility, adding more commitments. So at the beginning of every year, most people's to-do list and action items they want to do grows so big that year over year, they end up accomplishing nothing. So the first piece when I got started in time management that I had to learn the hardest way is you can't do everything. You can't be everything to everyone. So when you start the year, you need to start by elimination of things versus adding things. Because the two biggest things that everyone in the modern world is getting wrong right now is that we're not creating a schedule that protects us from the ultimate time wasters, which is distraction, number one, and you can name them with me: social media, TV, streaming services, YouTube, are all distractions. And the second is interruption, because we get alerts, things on your wrist, you got an Apple Watch, all of those things are distractions that wreck your schedule. So as we kick this off, it's all about elimination because you can't control time. So the number one thing to kick off your mindset and start to shift is you got to ask this question: what is your single biggest time waster? And here's a hack I learned. If you pull down on an iPhone or an Android and you look up your cell phone usage in the settings column, you'll be able to see crystal clear where you're spending your time. And what I have found is a lot of people do something called doom scrolling. When they even hit the bathroom, they're texting their phone and looking at videos and doing all these things that distract them from what they really want to accomplish in their business. So when I ask my team, hey, what's preventing you from prospecting? It could be they're on their phone not paying attention. They miss the message. They don't schedule it. So as you start this training today, ask yourself, what are the biggest things you can eliminate from your schedule so you can get back time to do the things that drive results? Because the quote, and I always think about this when it comes to prospecting, is remember this: you're not paid by the hour, you're paid by the result. So when I say this as a company, and I have a couple funny hashtags, but like one of them is making calls is cool, i.e. referring to prospecting. If you don't prospect, that's like owning a Chick-fil-A and not selling Chick-fil-A sandwiches and frying chicken and cooking fries and saying my pleasure. Yet in the loan officer business, a lot of people's day is spent doing everything but getting in front of agents and past clients and future clients and meeting with them to talk about what they're trying to accomplish, fix, or avoid in their business. So think about that when we go back to you're paid by the result. What's your schedule reflective of? Because when you ruthlessly control your schedule and eliminate all the distractions, things that aren't driving the results, and simplifying your day, it's amazing how fast you have time to do the high value, low cost, high return task in sales to drive more results for you. Number two, what are my 3 principles of time management? So number one, you have to own your calendar. When you're a brand new loan officer and people watch videos online, they all want sales hacks and shortcuts. And the single biggest hack is this: When you look at business, it's the only place where the new person, the new salesperson, is competing with the 30-year veteran. So when I look at your schedule as being brand new, you have to realize this. That veteran has 30 years of work doing the same thing you're doing. So by nature, they're probably going to be better than you. They're going to be more skilled than you. Their presentation is going to be better than yours. So when you're new, you have to make up in numbers, prospecting, outbound dials, DMs, emails, all these different tactics, going to open houses, what you lack in referrals. Yet when I look at most people's schedule and I say, hey, can I see your schedule? It's a hot mess express. Your calendar should be reflective of your priorities. And your priorities as a new LO should be spent on selling and getting the name out there like as if you're running for mayor. But what do most people's schedules look like? They're filled with unimportant tasks, distractions, majoring in the minors, all the things that aren't going to drive sales and revenue for you. So start by this. The first principle, you have to own your schedule to block out time for lead generation and follow-up. If you're working a 40 to 50 hour week and you're brand new, I would bet to say 70% of your week should be spent on these lead gen, high value tasks to build that momentum in your business. Yet when I look at most people's schedules, there's no formalities. There's no, here's what time I get to work every day. Here's what time I go to bed every night. Here's my scheduled workout. Here's my date night with my spouse. It's just wide open. And as you know, right? It's that when you have too much free time, it's very hard to be productive. You create the structures and routines in your day by scheduling it on a weekly basis. Number 2, own your access. I don't get this when I look at people's cell phones and I sit with them, why they have all these push-through alerts. I see people getting a real-time alert for email. I see people getting a real-time alert for a Facebook like or message, such and such liked your post. I see a real-time alert for something on LinkedIn. And just sitting with them, my skin crawls because I ask the question this: why do these people have so much access to you? None of these things actually matter, yet they derail your thought process and take you off base. Because if you read any books about focus, it takes you 5 to 7 minutes after every interruption to fully immerse yourself back in the task at hand. So when I see these tactics, or when you're sitting at your computer and Outlook sends you an alert, you got an email, that is not the kind of schedule or routine you need to be successful. You need to turn these things off to, again, eliminate those things and schedule the times you check your email when you're trying to do something else. Because nothing in real estate is urgent to the point where it needs to be treated like it's a death, right? Like it's an absolute emergency. So keep that in mind. And then number 3, eliminating time vampires. The 3 biggest time vampires that people have right now is social media, television shows, right? And lastly, toxic relationships. I can't get over when I find people's routines in sales that they'll have social media up all the time, yet they get no business off it. They'll have TV shows that they watch every single week, or sports, right? That's a huge addiction that the world loves to talk about. Men in professional sports and women in professional sports, and people loving them more than they love their life or their spouse, right? That's a whole separate discussion. And lastly, toxic relationships that aren't serving you. So when you talk to these time vampires, there's only one way to fix it. Drive a stake through their heart with garlic, right? No, I'm just kidding. But you just got to put a line in the sand and quit doing it. Because you have to fight for your time to take action to get your goals, right? So follow me here. So let's go number 3, and this is a very important one right here. Fast to implement tools and tactics you can do right now. So the number one thing whenever I talk to somebody is, what actions can you take today? So number one thing right now, if you're watching this video, what is something you can eliminate out of your schedule and routine today? What can you stop? Can you delete Facebook app off your phone, Instagram, LinkedIn, or whatever else is your distraction? Can you delete YouTube off your phone because you watch it too much? You know your vices, I don't, but do one thing today and start making those changes as we speak. Number 2, if you don't have a schedule for the 5 days of the week that you're working as a loan officer, I can't help you. You should know every single day what time you're going to wake up. If you're going to go to the gym, you should schedule it. If you're going to be social, it should be scheduled. If you're going to make prospecting calls or outbound dials or update clients, it should all be scheduled. Your schedule should not be some place of creativity where you just get your emotions out and, express your inner self of who you want to be. Your schedule should look like someone who is running a business who wants to accomplish something big. I bring this up quite often is if you were going to be the CEO of a huge company, how would you structure your week? Because what we often forget about is these small habits, right, become big routines. And then if that routine does not empower you to take the action you need to take, we can't help you as sales trainers. We can't put you in a spot to make more money. You're on your own. Warren Buffett said it best once, which is this: the chains of habit are too soft to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. Because often we are so embedded in our chaos that we never break free from it to create the life we really want. And then lastly, and this is the piece that you need to think about the most, and this is the key, is you have to create a way to say no. You have to be able to tell people in your life, as we talk through these things, no, I can't do that. I don't do that. That's out of my realm. Just as you cut off the time vampires, you have to carve out some time by saying no. You can't say yes to everything if you want to be more successful in this business. You can only say yes to the things that are going to drive more revenue and bring you more referrals. So attending blindly networking events that have nothing to do with our space, I caution you. Attending just random events with no plan, I caution you, because you only have so much time you can work every week, and they might not be the highest value task. So real quick before we wrap this up, there's a quick bonus that I think most people need to hear whenever I wrap up a training. The first thing is this: most of us are waiting on one thing that we think is going to change our business. We're waiting for that big break, that pie in the sky, for that massive change that's going to come that one day. The single biggest thing when we talk about one thing that will change your life, it's with owning your schedule and your daily task. We have so much time as a society spent on business planning for the future, envisioning the future, mindsets, nuances. We overlook just the simple disciplines of daily action. And that is the single biggest thing when it comes to time management. How do you own today? Not next year, not 5 years from now, but today, to take the necessary actions that you win. Because when you look at the all-time greats at any industry, any business, any sport, they all are focused on execution today over the best of intention of doing it next week. They're ready to get in that training room today and watch film or practice or train or work on mobility today, not in 2 weeks, right? You have to realize that is the single biggest thing whenever you watch a training video is elimination of tasks that don't serve you and then taking action today. Number 2, one big piece that you have to do is you have to schedule everything. Everyone assumes that all these magical things that people have achieved more happen through osmosis or watching YouTube videos. And it's actually the other extreme. They set times by blocking out time and they do it every single time they say they're going to do it. Because the first way you increase your effectiveness is not by leading people and speaking in front of a huge room. It's by simply leading yourself and going back to those things we've talked about in this very video. And lastly, the hardest part about all this is being transparent with another person. And if you're in sales as a loan officer, sometimes it can be your manager. Sometimes it can be someone in your office. But you have to have someone that is willing to go on this journey with you. It's simple, but not easy. But it's really easy to lie to yourself and hide in the shadows of busyness, distraction, interruption, and avoid the work that needs to be done today. So I share that and say this bonus because this is everything you need to know about realizing you cannot control time. So as I wrap up this training, I have one more quote, and I want to bring this to you. If your schedule, and this is what I'll tell you, when you look at it, this is the quote I tell myself quite often. If it does not bring in loans or buy back your freedom when it comes to your working hours, it should be off your calendar. So as we close out, realize your calendar will be the biggest constraint in the beginning because you'll be frustrated by it. But in the end, it'll give you the freedom to get the life you want because it'll force you to take the actions you need to take. So again, John Murphy signing off. Have a great week.